Here we go. It is Django, host of the Django Show. I am so happy to be here. It's our first episode. It's been quite a journey to get here. You know, we did the videos first. People said they loved it. And then I kind of changed up the content to try to really find myself. And as I started finding myself, I feel like people started falling in love with the content a little bit more. You know, I didn't have any kind of ideas. I didn't think I had the answers. I just wanted to be as pure in my thoughts as possible. And so this is going to be a reflection of that. This is going to be about helping people find the answers by getting a better understanding of what kind of questions they should be asking. And before we get started, I just want to shout out my brother, Will. You know, I got his shirt on, the sweater he makes, DisplacedByDesign. It's honestly an incredible company. If you get a chance, I'll make sure to put it in the link. He's got a pretty amazing company, man. He's really doing something special. And you can't see the back of this shirt, but it's next level. I mean, his designs are great. And it's been great watching him as he's been asking himself certain questions as to what can I build? What can I do to be better? And, you know, I'm proud to be able to wear the sweater on the show on the first episode. And before we get started, I just wanted to kind of give you guys a little bit of background. I don't want to try to give you any answers. I think you have the answers. I just think you need to figure out what questions you need to ask yourself. You know, one of the things I live by is that the quality of your life is dictated by the quality of the questions that you ask. And so a buddy of mine recently said that a good topic to start things off would be to talk about, with the pandemic, with COVID, how it's affected new college grads and what they can do to get, good jobs, to maybe change things up. And so I think it's a really interesting subject because when I got out of college, I sent all kinds of resumes. I sent my resume all over the place, was trying to get a good job. And, I tried my best to differentiate myself. In fact, I had a job before I actually graduated. I went out and interviewed while I was still in school. And, the question that I was asking myself was, what job can I get? How much money do I want to make when I get out of school? And how fast can I get out of my parents' house? And it wasn't until much later on that I began to ask myself, what kind of value can I bring to this industry or to this company to where I am invaluable? And so you can always, fill out for certain jobs, and there's jobs still to this moment in certain industries. So I understand that there can be challenges depending upon, what kind of major you have and, how big the market is. But there are some questions that you can ask yourself in regards to what is it that I am trying to build in my life. And honestly, I think that this episode is going to be about finding something deeper than a job. When you graduate school, you have all these ideas of, at least for me, it was all about vacations and, working my way up and then retiring and, having kids. And just all I was thinking about was what was the amount of money I needed to make to get to the next step. And the challenge I want to make to the people who follow is, what can you do to bring value into other people's lives that's worth what you want to do in life? For some people, you only need to make $30,000 a year. For others, maybe the things you want to do equate to millions of dollars a year. It depends on the issues at hand that maybe you want to tackle. I've met people who want to tackle things with climate change. For me personally, I want to help orphanages. I want to change the way that we think about foster kids and how we can help them through their process and make sure people don't slip through the cracks. But, the number one question I ask people when I am having just a general conversation is, what is it you want to do with your life? And almost no one ever has an answer. People are like, I want to work a job, or, I want to be able to do, I want to go on vacation, or, I want to just be sipping margs on the beach. I mean, you can only drink so many margs. So if that's your goal, then, I guess you're going to have a couple margs on the beach, and then I guess that's it for life. But if you can find something deeper than that, well, then that could be the beginning. So to take a step back, right? The pandemic has caused a lot of issues, right? Obviously, companies like Regal, with cinemas and grocery stores and small businesses have probably been hit the hardest. And it also depends on the state you live in. So the question becomes, as you look at all these industries, all this change, what is it that you can do to be invaluable? And so when you're looking at that job and you go to fill out, your application, and Maybe you know that there's a lot of other people filling out applications. What can you do? I tried to get a meeting with VaynerMedia a couple months back. I was trying to figure out, I'm sure they get tons of emails. What can I do to stand out? I sent a LinkedIn message to literally almost everybody who worked there. I tried to connect with everyone. I found everybody I could on Instagram. I emailed people. I did all kinds of stuff. Now, granted, things didn't work out the way I wanted, but I did get connected with someone. And so I know when I used to fill out for jobs, you send the job offer in, hey, I got interest, but so does everyone else. What can you do next? Maybe send everybody an email. Hey, my name is so-and-so. I'm getting out of school. I'm super excited. I want to work here. I want to do this. Like, if you know what it is that you can do and add value, I think sometimes when we're looking at a job, we're not 100% sure what that is. A way to almost differentiate yourself from everyone else is sure everyone is filling out the application. And coming out of college, you probably are at a disadvantage compared to other people who've already worked within the industry. But the thing is you can differentiate yourself by showing you want this more than someone else. If someone were to reach out to me and say, hey, Django, it'd be cool if we partnered on so-and-so. I see you do this and that. It's cool. But if they're like, look, Django, I know that you do this and I can do this for you and it will help you do X, Y, Z. If it makes sense, then I'm going to hire you. I mean, why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I partner with you? If you want to do editing or video or whatever, and you talk about how the output of what you will do is going to be worth more than you put into me, then, that's a beautiful thing. More than what I have to, the work that I have to do has to equate to something even bigger. I heard Elon Musk talk about this recently. He said the whole point of the businesses and corporations is that your output is worth more than the input. And so then what you're outputting is literally the profit margin, I guess, to some extent. You have to think about yourself as like a business. What is it that I am doing for these companies is going to help them? Look, in the pandemic, maybe you don't have as many choices, but there are places that are hiring. So what is it that you want to do with your life? And how can this business align you with certain skills? How can you do things? What if you came out the gate and said that you would take a little bit less money than what the job's offering? That might differentiate you. What if the thing is that you have some kind of skills that they don't know about? You just have to put that energy out there. And that works differently for different industries, right? I do sales and have built apps, so I don't really know what the world is like as an accountant or as, a lawyer, but the same idea to some extent holds true. And what I would say in a worst case scenario, if you absolutely cannot find a job, if you've been decimated and your industry's been decimated in a way that you can't really find a job because there's so many people who are out of work, I will say there's one thing you can do to differentiate yourself if your idea is that you literally cannot find a job. And I think that is to make a list of the places that you would want to work at most and ask yourself, would I be willing to do this for free? Because if you reached out to someone and you said, look, I know you're not hiring right now, and I know that, you probably still have a certain amount of work that needs to be done. Let me know what I can do to support you for free or for whatever maybe you could pay. And I'd be more than happy to push forward to help you guys out. But all I ask is when you are hiring, that I be the first one you think about. Because some industries are going to come back. I know with physical therapy and certain worlds, literally, if you can't be in person, maybe things aren't working out the same. But maybe this is your time to get into a place that you couldn't have imagined you'd be able to work at yet because you differentiate yourself in such a way. Because, let's be honest. And so for some people, if you can't work, you might as well try to find a way to get into the thing that you want most, And so I'm not telling you how it is you have to do it. I'm just saying you have to ask yourself a certain amount of questions of what matters most to you. And when you ask those questions, all of a sudden you get this idea of the value that you can add. I've had all kinds of jobs. I've worked at Salesforce. I've worked at McDonald's. I've worked at Under Armour. I've worked at Metalogics and Cvent. I've had technology sales jobs. I've built apps. My first job I ever had, I was cutting grass at what is that thing called? I was cutting grass at a plantation for a Latino dude under the table, just literally 100 acres. All I did was the weed whacker. Because by the time I finished getting all the way around, I just had to start all over again. I was making, I think it was like $10 an hour, maybe it was $14 an hour. I was making double what I ended up making when I worked at McDonald's. Same dude, same skills. But the value that I added to McDonald's was not nearly as much as the value that I added cutting grass on that plantation. So the question becomes not only is it now, what is it that you can add to each industry, but also like, what is the value add within the different businesses, right? Like, so if you're an accountant, maybe if you're doing accounting for one business, it's only worth $30 an hour. But maybe if you thought about it from like, well, what could I do on my own? If I messaged like 1,000 businesses and 10 businesses were willing to pay me $500 a month, you get 10 businesses, all of a sudden it's like $5,000 a month. You'd be surprised as to what you can actually do when you start to think about what is the little things that you can do to just be worth something more to the people that are around you. And so I would just challenge you as you're graduating college. Think about what it is you want to do to change the world. Think about what it is that's bigger than you that you can do. And then as you're looking for a job, think about the steps that job can help you take towards that journey. Because not only will it help you figure out ways you can differentiate yourself, but it will also help you not burn out as quick because you know what the bigger path is. You know what the bigger journey is about. You know why you wake up every day. And I think sometimes that's something that you need to learn even more than just getting a job. Now, granted, we all need jobs, so I'm not going to front on you. If you got to take what you got to take, just do it. But at the same time, while you're at that job, ask yourself the questions. Figure out what matters most to you. Find something bigger than yourself and grow into something great. In general, for the episodes, we are going to mostly have guests, so there'll be a lot more questions and things like that. On some days where we don't necessarily have a guest, I will answer different questions that people reach out about that they want me to cover. I mean, for me, this is the first go-round, so it's not necessarily easy for me to, really figure out the process. But as we go and grow, it'll be better. And, over these next 10 years while we're doing this podcast, I think we're really going to do something special. I'm going to announce what we are going to be raising money for. I really want this to be special. I want it to be that when we raise money for these causes, that it's bigger than just a cause. Like, you can see the change that we do. You see where the money goes. I want every dollar to go towards helping people. And I mean, that's all that matters to me. I want to help people. And I want people to find what kind of life they will be gifting their time. We only get to do this one time, at least in this body. Maybe we'll get to run it back, but as a different person. But in this time frame, with this life, we got one shot. And with that shot, you can do anything. So what kind of life will you gift your time? I hope that the Django Show helps you unlock questions that will give you the answers that you need to move forward and live the best life that you can. But for when that day will come, I wish you guys the best. I'm looking forward to the next couple episodes. I hope, you love it. And let me know what we can do to make things even better. This is Django. This is episode 1 of The Django Show.